Previously on Jetstream.
Why fly slow when you can fly fast?
Ringside at the world's most exclusive fight club. 7 of the country's most elite pilots take on the challenge of their lives.
Every one of us is going to get our asses kicked one day or another.
To see if they have what it takes to cut it as a fighter pilot.
Your previous experience counts for that much.
It's boot camp at the Cold Lake Fighter School. Park your ego at the door.
You've got to learn it in such a way that it's instinctive, because you can't stop and think. There's no time.
The instructors are ruthless.
I don't want someone flying on my wing who's not 100% interested in doing this business.
And sometimes, even commitment is not enough. The cracks are already beginning to show. And it's only just begun. The first thing rookies learn when they arrive at 410 Squadron is that being a fighter pilot isn't a job, it's a life.
It takes a special person to want to do this. It is a calling. It's not a decision you make after you woke up on Sunday morning after watching Top Gun and going, that's what I want to do.
The 7 trainees are already seasoned flyers, but this is their shot at the big league. They're 9 weeks into fighter pilot school at Canadian Forces Base Cold Lake, Alberta, and they're about to fly the F-18 Hornet for the first time.
All right, welcome to the walk around. Try to remember as much as I try to pass on to you.
Captain Patrick Pelletier, one of their instructors, walks them through the airworthiness checks every F-18 pilot is expected to know by heart.
This is very poisonous, so don't touch it with your hand, just inspect it with your eyeballs. This door will be open, you'll inspect the gun.
There are 155 checks before they even climb into the cockpit.
Just need to give it a little shake. It can move up and down, no problem. That's the umbilical to the missile itself. Close it back up.
I'm looking at the afterburners of all these jets. Kind of surreal, you know. Before it was, my dream was a picture on a wall, you know, in my bedroom, you know, when I was a kid.
Now it's for real, but it took years of dedication to get here.
We went through a military college where you get thrown in, you get broken down, and then they build you up as a team.
They train as a unit to fight as a unit.
You do feel part of something much bigger. Because everywhere you go, people count on you, count on them, and it's a good feeling.
They better love it, because when you sign on to fight jets, it means a lifetime of sacrifice. But one of them, the guy who's been trying to carve out a personal life, have a girlfriend, have some fun, has decided he wants his life back. Even before taking a single flight, Mike Dunning has called it quits.
No. It was a shock to us all, but obviously he'd been thinking about it for a while.
I was very surprised. Yes, they gave no hints.
Yeah, it just, you know, he broke the decision to us this morning, and we had no idea that anything like that was coming.
I was unhappy and not enjoying what I was doing. It wasn't for me, and you can't know that until you're here and immersed in it. In order to be successful, because the training is so intense and the job is so intense, that you have to put 100% of your time and energy and focus into that.
His bosses thought he understood that a long time ago, when they made him one of the chosen few, and they're not happy.
There are no farewell speeches, there are no goodbyes. We have a course to run here, and the other 6 members of your course need to focus on their training, and I don't need this as a distraction.
In a matter of hours, Dunning is yesterday's news. And another pilot gets the phone call, he's just won the lottery. If anyone can rise to the challenge, it's Dave McLeod. He got his pilot's license when he was still in high school, and from the moment he graduated from Royal Military College, he knew what he wanted. Now he'll get the chance to show his stuff.
The first thing I could say was, wow, because I was totally out of the blue.
Welcome to the club. How you doing it already? Yeah, it's so exciting. Cake popcorn.
That's Dunning's old one? Okay. So you can just wipe out anything you don't want on there. Sure.
Dave McLeod is a brave man because he's committed to learn in 4 weeks what the others had 9 to absorb.
You know, there's considerations about, am I diving in over my head at this point? This is what it's going to take for me to be a fighter pilot. And if I pooch this one, then that's that. There's no more fighter pilot for me.
While Dave hits the books, the other students are about to hit the runway. Suiting up for the F-18 the first time out is like gearing up for the Super Bowl. It makes everything else they've flown seem like training wheels.
It will not break. You don't have to be delicate with it at all, okay? It is a fighter jet. It is meant to go and attack things and blow things up. So throw it around, make sure it does what you want it to do. And that may take a little bit of muscles. Use both hands.
We're walking at 1200. All times are in local today. Starting at
Mike Lewis is lucky he's flying at all today. Every time he's been to the centrifuge to test his ability to withstand high G-forces, he keeps failing.
Here, the worst you're going to see is light winds and...
Until he passes, he's not allowed to push the jet past 5 Gs.
It's a suitable altitude.
And for the Hornet, that's barely breaking a sweat. But it's enough to let Lewis fly the first few missions with the rest of his class.
All right, thanks, dude.
Don't break. There's no spare.
I've been waiting for this for a long time, so I'm pretty stoked about this. This is incredible.
First, they have to prove they've memorized the external safety checks.
I'll try to actually see if I can grab everything.
Sure. Yeah, for it.
All 155 of them.
Check those bad boys.
Okay, and you can feel it if you go like that.
Covering everything from mechanical
Just make sure that's up.
Yeah.
to animal.
Cobwebs or any in them at all.
Okay.
Then, there are another 194 cockpit checks. 76 more checks before they even start the engines.
Oh, she's quite the process. We'll get a flow here soon, guys.
Sir, we're not in any rush.
And starting the engines involves 45 more. A guy could get old waiting around for this.
And we are full bright for strobes, night ID light is off. Controls are off.
An experienced fighter pilot can knock off the whole works in under 5 minutes. Rookies usually take 3/4 of an hour. One by one, they all go through the same steps.
We took 38 minutes.
And they can't afford to make mistakes. The instructor in the back seat is watching like a hawk.
You ready? Also.
And up front, the heads-up display tape is recording every move they make and everything they say.
6:55, we're taking off.
We're running back on F-18 on approach at 3-1 left report.
You all set?
Yeah.
Smudged it. Show me your stuff, man. Good job. Don't come out of burner. Good job.
This is good. 100 knots.
Balls up. Figuring 220. No to burn.
Right away, the students are expected to start mastering the basics.
Drive roll. Yeehaw!
rolls, climbs, stalls.
Yeah, already coming up. Vertical. Just hold her there. Wait for it. And there's 180. Nice and aggressive, nice and aggressive. Keep pulling. Pull, 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 pull.
The instructors are looking for a cool head and discipline in the cockpit.
All through.
Because in combat, that's what keeps you alive. So even though the rookies are getting the most thrilling ride of their lives, they're all business. But at this stage, flying is the easy part. For an inexperienced pilot, bringing an F-18 back to Earth is the most dangerous and difficult part of the flight.
Feels so dumb.
For 30 years, the F-18 has proven its fighting abilities in combat theaters around the world. But in the hands of a rookie fighter pilot on a windy day, it can also be treacherous.
Slightly high.
Especially bringing it into land for the first time.
Extra speed there, just because the winds are a little screwy.
Landing the F-18 Hornet can make even the most seasoned veterans break a sweat. That's because this jet was never designed to land on land.
When the aircraft was first certified, it was a Navy aircraft, predominantly designed to fly off a ship, where they literally fly it down to impact. And I'll say impact because it's quite a violent arrival on the airfield.
Without power, the F-18 flies like a manhole cover.
Watching that.
So the safest way to bring it down is to stay on the throttle and land it hard.
Still a bit high. Correct.
And it just doesn't feel natural.
There you go.
Altitude.
Seamus lands harder than the instructor would like. But he gets it done without a whole lot of drama.
That was wild.
But one student is still a long way from home.
I'm having issues here.
For Riel, the drama has just begun. She's still got to get this bird down.
Alright, so I gotta pick it crosswind here.
So how does a novice bring 15 tons out of the sky onto the runway? On the left is the E-bracket. It tells the pilot the plane's angle on landing, how high the nose is. An E-bracket right here helps ensure a smooth landing. But attempt it with the E-bracket down here, and you're asking for trouble.
Seeing the E-bracket that low, you don't see it like that very often because any qualified, trained F-18 pilot would never let it get that low.
A trained F-18 pilot would never let it get that low because it means the plane could literally drop out of the sky.
Don't let the E-bracket get away, Riel. Here. Oh, flaps.
Riel is struggling with her first landing in the Hornet. A strong tailwind pushes her and the E-bracket around.
Start tightening up. Turn tighter.
Walk the throttles, don't fire.
But as they drop below the tree line, the wind stops, and the jet's speed instantly drops from 135 to 120 knots. Then, Riel makes the situation worse. She yanks back on the stick, slowing the plane even more, knocking the E-bracket out of position. In the back seat, the instructor seizes control, powering forward. Still, the plane hits the ground with twice the force it should have.
just landing this thing is going to be a challenge, I think.
After every flight, there is a debriefing, and Riel's is humbling.
I've heard the AOA tone in the final turn a couple of times in my career in the backseat, other people flying, and the jet just feels scary.
It's the first time for this class that an instructor has had to take control away from a student.
The students aren't stupid, and Riel knows that when I say I have control, that she's basically messed up. You just can't let things snowball and get frustrated. And I see that a lot. It's like the cockpit is no place for emotion.
You're used to, I mean, through most of my life, kind of being always at the top of the group, always, you know, never really having to struggle or anything like that. And yeah, and this is a challenge. It is not easy, and it hasn't been easy since day one. It wasn't a great way to start.
It wasn't a good start. Bad landings are a classic rookie mistake. But when you're flying a supersonic fighter, even the smallest errors can carry the gravest consequences. This course is a marathon, and these athletes have only just begun the race.
Look at the fear on his face. See it? It's turning white. I think he's going to be sick here in a second.
It's now week 10, and the pace is intensifying. The students are flying daily, and there are never enough serviceable jets or enough time for practice.
And you're learning a new jet, but they don't give you very much time to be able to adapt. They'll take you to a certain point where you're just prior to feeling comfortable. Like you wish you had another flight or two just to sort of solidify everything.
Dave McLeod, the new guy, has no sympathy. He's cramming to get through ground school in half the time they had.
We're going to hold his hand for a little bit and spoon feed him and take care of him because we've asked a fair bit of Dave to jump in here.
So let's go over to 50 questions there.
Spoon feeding feels a lot like force feeding, but Dave is eating it up. He has no choice if there's any hope of catching up with the rest of his classmates.
Know all the pressure, EGT limitations, hydraulic pressures, oil pressures.
Yeah.
Oh, what did I do? I just study at work, go home, have food, study, go to bed, get up, have food, go to work, study.
Just check to see if that one's open. There's yours.
719.
On top of everything else, he's now begun a grueling flying schedule. And the pressure is beginning to tell.
I left my keyboard inside. Want me to get it? No, I'll go get it. I'll be like 60 seconds.
Forgetting important things, like his mission plan.
Doing 2 events a day when the information is coming at you that fast is tough.
All right, let's roll.
Okay, engine's good. No power check. VGT's good. For 145. This thing really goes.
All of the students are feeling the burn. And when inexperience meets exhaustion, mistakes start happening. Big mistakes, like the one Tim Coffin is dealing with right now. One of the exercises the students do is a practice engine restart. The drill is straightforward. Shut down one engine, accelerate to 350 knots, relight it. At that speed, air is driving the compressor like a windmill. So when the engine is reignited, the turbines are spinning fast enough to blow the heated air out the exhaust. Tim's mistake is that he was flying too slow. The hot air was trapped and the engine overheated.
Cougar 3-3, 3 green, action.
Tim is now flying a jet with one engine out. and that means an emergency landing.
9 knots, spoke cables up, recheck here.
He has to drop the tail hook and snag the steel cable stretched across the runway. Normally, the F-18 needs nearly a mile of pavement to slow down. Trapping the cable brings it to a dead halt in less than 1,000 feet.
Coming around.
One of the exercises we wanted to do today was a practice single engine approach. So he got to do one for real.
Tim's mistake might have cost the Air Force a $2 million engine and one less jet for the next few weeks. Because now, that 1-ton engine has to come out of the plane.
Okay, go slow, guys.
And then go to the sick bay to see if the heat caused any damage.
Okay.
Tim was lucky. The engine's okay. From big to small, a screw-up is a screw-up. Yannick Jobin's mission has just been scrubbed because he dropped his pen in the cockpit. That 19-cent piece of plastic could be lethal if it jammed a critical mechanism. So, until they find it, which could be days if they have to pull out the ejection seat, this jet is out of action.
Be advised we change from 9:18 to 9:30 is going to be launching instead.
And when somebody breaks a plane, it usually means somebody else doesn't get to fly. So around here, they have a rule. One pilot's mistake is everyone's lesson.
We don't fly enough, we don't train enough to make all the possible mistakes for each of us and learn from them. So what we really have to do is when someone else makes a mistake, we have to present it to everyone so everyone can see it and go, okay, that's not what to do, this is what to do in that scenario.
Particular reaction to first
Even senior pilots fess up at the weekly all-officers meeting.
Everything's looking really good, and I'm getting in my very comfortable place, and so I'm a little slow to react here.
It's tough, I tell you, to stand in front of your peers, and I am a type A personality, and I don't like to be wrong, and to stand there and say, oh boy, did I screw this one up, guys, and y'all learn from it and move on, and hey, next week it's going to be somebody else.
Tim Coffin is proving to be a walking textbook. First, he nearly cooked an engine. Now, he may have damaged the landing gear of a second plane. A strut on one of the rear wheels is bent. It's the weak link in the landing gear. The F-18's Achilles heel.
This is the weak part of the system right here. This is the one. This is the thing that'll fail. Yeah. This is exactly how she'll do it. So this is about the limit you get to. Anything more than this, and the wheel will start doing that. Right. So how's that look?
For the second time in a week, Tim is under investigation.
At this point, I can't really say what caused it because there's going to obviously be a minor investigation just to ensure that everything is safe. But there was a very minor bit of damage done to the airplane on landing.
Okay. It's no coincidence that with every batch of new students, there's a whole new crop of landing gear accidents. Over in the hangar is a prime example of the worst case scenario.
That's a tough thing to break like that. Holy, that took some talent, actually. That is why you should always be ready to overshoot. Yeah. Because something bad like that can happen.
Something bad like the landing gear collapsing and sending the jet careening out of control. In Tim's case, they need to determine whether it was mechanical failure.
It's a good hard landing, the 1.7G.
Or pilot error.
I'm wondering, because when I touched down there, that was still around 3, right? There's still 3 degrees bringing it in?
Yep, which is as you should.
Tim's instructor replays the HUD tape looking for clues.
Did you maybe kick some left rudder?
I totally remember pretty much bringing feet off rudders.
That's the ideal glide path, right?
Until he's proven innocent, everyone will assume Tim's guilty.
You did manage to correct it. It triggers your touchdown. At least it's right on impact that this thing bends. I think the initial thing that caused this was, I think that part is just worn out. So, no fault to be found here. I don't think you get a new call sign under this one. All right. Radar vectors.
Tim's off the hook, for now, but his relief will be short-lived. Today marks a rite of passage at 410 Squadron. It's solo day, a high point in every pilot's career.
AIS, make sure Simon already has airspace.
After just 4 hours in the Hornet, the rookies are going up alone. The squadron safety officer offers a few choice words of advice.
Don't f*** it up.
Dave McLeod has been running flat out for weeks, and he's finally caught up with his classmates.
You'll be doing it.
Now, for all of them, this is a big moment.
Finally.
It won't really kick in until you're out there and you're by yourself.
Can't believe I'm walking out here alone. Oh, this is scary.
Pilots count their hours in the jet. Some instructors have over 2,000. For the students, this is hour one, minute one, as a solo flyer.
All right, see you when I get back.
All right, nose wheel steering is up. We're good to go.
Cleared takeoff. Okay, MHT, fuel flow, nozzle, oil's good. Going to burner.
There we go.
Zero, thumbs up, 220.
One by one, they find their place in the air. Except Seamus. Moments before takeoff, he's stopped in his tracks. His FCS flashes a warning. FCS is the flight control system. It manages rudders, horizontal stabilizers, flaps. It lets him steer the plane. And there's something wrong with Seamus's. He reboots, basically hitting Control-Alt-Delete, and all systems seem to be fine. Seamus gets his first solo flight, just like everyone else.
Get up, flaps. They're up. Now we got to do the fun stuff. Eat your heart out. This is f***ing awesome. Just awesome.
It might be f***ing awesome, but it's still the first solo flight, alone at 20,000 feet. If Tristan hits the wrong switch, if Yannick has a fuel leak, if Mike's engine fails, help is a long way down.
Yeah, how's the weather out there?
So far, so good, or so they think on the ground. In fact, something has gone wrong. Seamus again. For the second time in 20 minutes, his flight control system is out of whack. He has backup systems, but worst case, a bad FCS can mean losing control over nearly everything except the ejection seat. Seamus's reboot works. His solo continues.
Move up a little bit.
But minutes later, the warning flashes again.
Jesus Christ.
And again, he reboots.
Figure tonight.
Finally, he radios ground. He's ordered to bring it down right now.
For the short trip that I did have, it was really cool Really awesome. Kind of weird being so quiet, and I can't wait till I go up again.
He'll be waiting a long time. In this course, solo flights are as rare as pats on the back, and he's not about to get that either.
I had the FCS caution come up, so I did the yellow phase response, reset it, successful reset, cleared, continued. So it happened 3 times, all about, like I said, 20 minutes apart. When I was
in the fast jet community, flight safety is the law, and Seamus just blew past a cop doing 180.
Anytime you pull this out, okay, you should be talking to me, and I'll do that for you. But right there, as soon as you pulled that out, the trip was over right there. Okay?
All right.
Maybe it was just a computer glitch. Maybe it was something serious. Either way, the first warning should have shut him down before he even took off. Seamus was desperate to continue his mission. Tim, on the other hand, is less enthusiastic.
So, you're not too tired to go solo?
No, never.
Sweet.
Flying fighters is exhausting work, and Tim has already been up once today. Now he has to fly his solo, his big moment, and he's feeling wrung out.
5, so...
Worse, the good weather his classmates had is quickly disappearing.
There's, again, some thunder showers in there, but remember the emphasis here is go out, have fun, don't tear your sweater, but it's mostly pattern work, not so much in the area. All right? Okay. Questions, comments, dirty jokes? Cool. Have fun.
Hopefully the weather holds off and it'll be a good trip.
Tim's F-18 can dodge heat-seeking missiles. It can roar to Mach 1.8. But it can't outrun a lightning bolt. And a thunderhead is one of the few things this jet isn't supposed to play with.
Bring it around.
So, the first thing Tim has to do is find a clear patch of sky to work in.
All right, looks like we got a pretty good hole here. Let's start slowing down. And let's come down to about 12,000 feet if we can. Watch G's. 25, come on.
Tim can take the G's, but thunderheads are boxing him in.
All right, we're not going to get anything out of this. Weather's shite. And Tower 301 go.
Got a weather warning coming out for lightning and thunder activity from 0300 to 0630Z.
Thunderstorms pose a double threat. Although much of the jet is made of aluminum, which is a great conductor, lightning can still punch a hole in it. Equally dangerous are the fierce updrafts and downdrafts that can knock a plane out of control.
And Studio 114. Yeah, just got a thunder lightning warning from the tower. We'll do a couple patterns and I'll call it quits.
Get the pattern until you start to see spits on the windshield, and then it's time to land.
And Studio 114. We're going to call it quits for the day. There's a fair bit of lightning to the south.
Is it raining on your windscreen?
Negative, not yet.
Do one more pattern.
And sorry, you're broken.
Do one more pattern.
Tim manages to get a few more maneuvers in, but then decides to cut his solo short.
Mother
Lightning kind of scared me a bit up there. Scared me down earlier.
Evidently, warriors aren't supposed to let a little thing like lightning get in the way of a good flight.
The windscreen didn't get wet.
No,
and here you are anyway.
Didn't go wet, but it's coming
out of
fast.
gas. Tell me you're out of gas. There you go. There you go. Now you're safe. There's no way you ran out of gas. I know. And I told you to fly until the windshield got wet. Oh well.
Lightning come in.
You got flying, man.
Yeah, I probably could have did a couple more patterns, but Just didn't see any point, so I decided to take it back. Live to fly another day.
But even when it isn't perfect, a pilot's first solo in the Hornet is something he never forgets. The instructors will make sure of it. Air Force tradition dictates that once a pilot goes solo, he's earned himself a call sign, a nickname that symbolizes his identity as a Hornet pilot. All of the instructor pilots have one, whether they like it or not. Peanut knows as well as Pig that their call signs could have been a lot worse. Flailing got off easy too. His call sign is a play on his last name, Ailing. But if there's a story behind Noodle's call sign, he's not talking. Only card-carrying club members like Spanky and Boozer know the real stories behind the call signs. Like why the most mild-mannered guy got stuck with a name like Psycho. Some call signs are obvious. Kraut, for example, is German by ancestry. And Kramer does bear an uncanny resemblance to a certain Seinfeld character.
Yeah, the rule on call signs is if you like it, then great, you get to keep it. If you don't like it, then great, you get to keep it.
Yeah. But today, they all get their revenge by conferring call signs on the newbies, as fitting or unflattering as their own.
Okay, the bartender. This is the member appointed to distribute the shots for the evening and to monitor war stocks. Tonight, it's Burry.
Squadron tradition demands a well-stocked bar and a well-used gun barrel from the nose of a jet.
Hey, hold on, boys. I'm not going way down there, so...
It's like Lucky Charms.
Tradition also requires that both students and instructors get thoroughly roasted.
Dude, that must burn in the sun, eh? Actually, I think you're the one that should be wearing that stuff here. I think you need it.
In the forces, roasting a woman is risky, but fighter pilots are nothing if not creative.
So what I've put together here is a little poem, okay? And there's some rhyming, okay? Now, you guys, I can't say any of these words because I'm on camera, right? But all of you guys, if you think you know what the word I'm trying to rhyme is, I want you to yell it out at the top of your lungs, okay? Yell. You're a flight safety incident. There ain't no precedent. But you can fly like King Kong, even without a huge...
It's a cruel reality that fighter pilots get absolutely no say in the call sign they'll be forced to wear for the rest of their careers.
It's the time when we come up with call signs for FBC 39. Here's the honor.
They get locked in a back room while their peers vote.
Okay, we're going to vote. Only vote once, all right? Coffin, we're looking for Ogie.
The process is best described as mob rule.
Okay, we're down to two, Nads or Floater. You ready? Nads. Floater. Shifty.
Teabag.
So anyway, if you hit your call sign, join the frickin' club, all right?
Maybe in Hollywood you get cool names like Maverick and Iceman, but not here.
Congratulations. You're now Carney.
Carney.
Nail it. Guns. Blow. Floater. Tickler. Call sign, Teabag.
Getting a call sign is like a christening. It means you've joined the family. But in this family, you have to prove yourself every day. And tomorrow, there will be another test, another bullet to dodge. In a place where the goal is to make you part of the club, in all the ways that matter, Mike Lewis is already in. He's what they call a believer in the fighter force. In the F-18 is the only jet worth flying. And most importantly, in the military fraternity. But none of that matters if he can't beat this. The human centrifuge. The machine designed to simulate the heavy G-forces pilots endure in a fast jet like the F-18. It's a test every fighter pilot has to pass, and they all hate it.
You're just inside a box, you know, and it's very disorienting because you're not in control. You can't pull the stick and induce the G. You're just sitting in there like a mouse and waiting for it to happen.
Mike Lewis is the only one of his classmates who hasn't passed yet. And they're giving him one more crack at it.
Nats, I'm here.
The deputy commanding officer still has high hopes for Mike. They're cut from the same cloth, and Mike has that same fire in his belly that Spanky did when he started.
When I joined, they said, okay, give us 3 choices of airplanes you want to fly. I said, I want fighters. Well, what about number 2? I said, I want fighters. What about number 3? I want fighters. He said, well, is that all? I said, I want fighters, number 2 and 3. If I can't have that, you pick. I don't care. I'm going to be rather nitpicky today.
Like Spanky, for Mike, there is no consolation prize.
All I wanted to do ever was fly the Hornet. All we got to do is make it out of here. The rest of our lives, gravy.
Mike Lewis has a history of beating the odds. By all rights, he never should have made it this far.
Did you like it? This is a good show?
Yes. Yeah. He came down with spinal meningitis as a kid, and for the next 14 years, endured a string of operations on his legs.
When I was 16, they actually took a piece of my hip and bone grafted into the leg to lengthen it. And to me, I was like, okay, well, flying in the military, this isn't ever going to really happen.
But by sheer force of determination, he made it happen.
Just a lot of things that I thank God for, and just the things that fell into place for me that allowed me to do this. So my legs are 100% now. They've grown, and I've been flying now for 4 years.
No one in the squadron wants this to be the end of the road for Mike. But until he passes the centrifuge, they can't allow him to fly above 5G.
Once we start moving into the basic fighter maneuvers or dogfighting, they're going to be expected to maneuver the aircraft up to its maximum potential. If we've got a restriction where we can't fly him above 5G, well then we've got a problem.
No one's ever failed the centrifuge this many times, so the course director decides to consult the flight surgeon.
I'd like to get him over here and examine him, do some blood work on him, just to ensure we don't have a medical problem here, or even maybe, you know, social, psychological issues here that are happening.
Mike has logged nearly 1,000 hours on jets, and he's never had a problem in the air.
I don't know if it's just nerves or something, but I've never felt anything close to this at any time I've ever flown before.
Most pilots have wanted to be pilots since they're children, and they're successful, smart people generally. So to have a failure at this stage is a fairly significant psychological blow.
At this point, that hardly matters. Mike may not know why he can't pass the centrifuge, but he must know, until he beats it, his days here are numbered. That's next time on Jetstream.